this little tutorial is another factoring polynomials. However, our a value now is no longer 1. We're going to have something greater than 1. And so I like to use a method called slide, divide, and bottoms up. And we're going to get a little color coordinated here. Okay, and so I would like you to title your sheet with 3 different colors. So slide, in my case, is going to be in red. My divide is going to be in blue. And my bottoms up, we'll just go with black here. Okay, bottoms up. And so this is the method that is really easy if you learn, that we can use to factor polynomials when they have a value of a larger than 1. So let's fill out some basic steps here, or not steps, but requirements. Okay, just like our last set, we need our polynomial to have a degree of 1, sorry, degree of 2. So it must be a quadratic, just like the last set. Okay. Okay, the next requirement is it must be a trinomial. There must be 3 terms. Okay, the coefficient, so in this case our a term, put on x squared just to remind you, must be greater than 1. Okay, so a is greater than 1 value. And then just a reminder, before you ever start, it's always a good idea to see if you can factor out anything first. Okay, now, very similar to what we did on the last, we're going to use our little x method, and we're going to use the FST box, and that's fine. But right now, we're going to change our ax squared plus bx plus c into a new fashion. So the slide portion of this, we're going to take our a value, we're going to slide it out to the c. And what we're going to end up doing here is we're going to multiply a times c, and that's going to be the factor that I put in the top of my x. Okay? Now, when you slide that a out to the c, your new equation becomes x squared plus bx plus a times c. Okay? Now, we just got done doing factoring with x squared when the a of 1. So it's going to be really, really cool and really easy how it works out. Okay, let me move this up real quick. Okay, so step 1, we're going to label this slide. Okay, and so just to give you some directions, we're going to multiply your a term by the c term and write your new polynomial in terms of x squared plus bx plus a times c. This is very, very important. Okay? And we're still going to put the b on the bottom. Sorry, I didn't mean to fill that up top. Okay, now I'm going to switch my colors to my divide. Okay, because that's going to be the next step. Once we factor out our polynomials, go ahead and factor that like you normally would. Get your 2 binomial terms. Once you have your 2 binomial terms, you're going to divide your factor set of binomials by the original a value. Now we're just gonna divide the numerical terms. We're not going to divide our x's, but we're going to divide those factored terms, And then if we can, we're going to reduce any fractions. Okay? And then the last step after we reduce any fractions is called bottoms up. Okay? Any terms left as fractions, meaning you haven't been able to reduce it to a whole number. Okay? You're going to take the denominator value and move it in front of the x term in that binomial. So don't move it to the other binomial, move it to the same binomial. Okay, so let's do an example here. Okay, and so I want to factor 7x squared plus 29x plus 4. Okay, 7x squared plus 29x plus 4. So my first step, I'm going to slide this 7 out to the 4. And I'm going to multiply 7 times 4. And I get a new equation. That's x squared plus 29x plus 28. So now my polynomials in the terms that I just got done performing last section. Okay, my a is now 1. Okay, and so if we are following the same methods, we draw our x. We're going to put 28 on the top. We're going to put 29 on the bottom. We're going to do the factor of 28 and the sum of 29. That's our goals. Okay, so by doing that, factors of 28 include 1 and 28. Well, looky there. What do you know? We got the sum of 29 right on the first try. What we're going to do next is we're going to write our two binomial factored terms. So x plus 1, x plus 28. Okay, and now we're at step 2. Now we can divide. So we're going to divide by our original a term. So original a term was 7. Okay? Now we want to reduce any fractions that we can. And so if we reduce, okay, this becomes x plus, well, we can't reduce 1 over 7, so we're going to leave that. X plus 4. And then the last step we have here is called bottoms up. So any term that's left as a fraction, we're going to move it as a coefficient in that same binomial. And so my final answer in factored form will be 7x plus 1. Okay, when you do the bottoms up, you remove that denominator from that term. And x plus 4. This is my final answer, and it is in perfect form.